Good morning. This is Chris with CodeChris.com. Thank you for watching. And I don't normally do this, but I think I should probably be doing more of them. Is a little more like specific stuff. Yesterday I took a test, a quick JavaScript test, I was like super nervous because I found a great job. I really liked what I was seeing, and the position just sounded perfect for what I was looking for. So with that, they sent me a test. Okay, cool, totally fine. Done a million times. What ended up happening is I was so nervous for this test. I just wasn't thinking straight. Just wasn't breaking things down. And I've heard people like aren't good test takers before, and I'm not really like, okay, if you're not a good test taker, so you just don't know the material. But I could kind of feel the pressure. So with that being said, what happened is I was given 15 minutes to complete one question, and at the end of the day, I didn't finish. Didn't finish. And all I really wanted to do was just get the answer right. Like, well, if I can get the answer right, then I can get to the next stage. I explain why, and maybe not get it optimized right away, but whatever. I was breaking it down, but I just wasn't doing it right. Well, anyways, so this morning I wake up. It's 4:30, right, and then I'm like, okay, hang on, and it's been bugging me because I'm like, I know this. Why is this driving me nuts? And anyways, what ends up happening is I end up having a dream and being like, oh, because I had it like 90% done minus one thing. So ultimately it semi worked what was the expected output, but not completely. So I'm going to share what I did. I won't share the company name or anything like that, but I will share my process and how the question worked and everything else like that. So give me one moment here, because I think the thing is you can learn a lot from these practice tests or these tests actually. Okay, good, great, all right. So what I did is I decided that because I'm only going to be showing you guys what's going on here, I would at least explain how I came to the breakdown of what it is that I ultimately did, right? Okay, so let's get the actual question, shall we? And the other thing too is like sometimes things are worded kind of like dumb. I understand that most people don't consider this like the most creative field, but not everybody's a tech nerd, man. Just just say it in simplest terms. And that's another thing too, like just breaking it down to the basics of what it is you're trying to get across. All right, so over here, all right, cool. It's probably fine. Okay, cool. So anyways, so let's go ahead and read through the question and understand what the heck it is they're trying to ask, and then from there we can actually answer and solve the problem, right? Okay, so it says we consider a string consisting of two or more lowercase English alphabetical letters to be amazing if no adjacent character in the strings are equal. Okay, so right off the bat, we know what we're going to be doing is we're going to be comparing letters next to each other, okay? And so we're going to have to go through these letters and do some comparing of some kind, okay? Looking for things next to each other. Okay, cool. So, for example, the string ABC, ABA, and ABCA are amazing. However, the strings AAB, because there's two A's together, ABBA, because there's two B's together, and ABCAA are not amazing. Okay, cool. So what we're looking for at this point is going to be this difference between words or strings rather, that we're looking for different, that's the same as the last one. Different, same as the last one, right? That's what we want to find out, okay? Okay, if a string is not amazing, then we perform 0 or more replace operations on the string. We define a single replace operation to the replacement of any character in the string with any other lowercase English alphabetical order. Okay, so that's where I started to get confused. I was like, okay, wait, so am I replacing it? Because if that's the case, if I'm replacing it, then that means that, you know, I have to make sure that you replace it, but you can't replace it with the letter before. So you have to now check that the letter before, what that is, and then with that, you're going to change it to something else, but you have to know that it's not going to be the same as the letter ahead of it, because now you just create another problem. Way overthinking it. Way overthinking it, okay? And once again, this is just kind of nervousness. I mean, it happens, right? So now complete the minimal operations function in your editor. They're just giving, the name of the function is minimal operations, right? It has one parameter, an array of n strings words. Should probably clarify right there. It has one parameter, an array of n strings words. Okay, right off the bat, you know, this, I get why they did it. So in a nutshell, they're just simply asking, it's going to have one parameter, okay? And that one parameter is going to be an array. But that array could be 5, it could be 12, it could be 13, right? That parameter is called words. Words is an array of varying length. That's all it is. That's all it is. So this whole n strings words, I mean, it's really having to break it down. I mean, for some of you who are more veteran, like this it might sound really dumb to you, but for those of us who don't go through, you know, this on a daily basis, as far as that's how people talk to one each other, you know, I think, you know, for me, when I get a problem, it's a little more higher level than this, but just want to keep people informed. So, what do we got here? All right, cool. Okay, cool. So when the function must return an array of n integers, where the value of each index, I, denotes the minimum number of replace operations necessary to make string words amazing. Okay, cool. Let's go down to that, because that was also like, I'm like, Jesus, just say what you want in English. So now, the whole point of this function is going to return an array of n integers. Okay, so for example, let's say there is 5 words, right? That means I need to return an array that is 5 numbers, five pieces inside of the array. Okay, and where the value in index I denotes the number to replace operations necessary to make string. Okay, cool. And so inside of this array, I, which is going to be this guy, right? Because typically when you're doing like when you're running through an array or like a loop or something, you're typically marking things as I. So going through this array, each one of these should be the number, the minimum number required within that word to make it so it would not have sequential numbers. Okay. In layman's terms, much higher level, what they're looking for is a way to write in for this function a single parameter that takes an array of whatever length, and they want you to run through that array and find the number of duplicate letters inside of each word. Then return back the number of duplicate letters inside of each word. Like that. That's it. That's it. So now they give us some examples. So input format, lock stop, blah, blah, blah. This one really isn't. The first line contains an integer and denoting the number of elements. Each line, I, and so, da, 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 da. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, it's guarantee the words. Da, 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 da. Okay, cool. All right, so here's some examples, right? So sample input, right? So 5, AB, AAB, ABBA, AB, right? Okay, cool. So now this kind of makes sense, right? So this has, this is, oh yeah, when we're talking about lowercase letters, so that kind of makes sense. I don't know why they chose that's stupid, because these aren't explaining it very easily. I guess whatever. Let's just continue this because it's whatever. Okay. Or did I miss something important here? Word economy to replace words. Word 3 equals A with B to get the amazing string. Yeah, I guess the thing is they're not giving me examples of things where there might be two situations. But up here, it clearly says the number of parameter, or the number of times that it's going to go through the array, right? They don't give an example. This is kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for an example of, like, you know, A, B, B, A, C, C, A, D, D. Like, that should be 3 things it needs to change. They don't give an example of that, and that was, like, throwing me off. I'm like, okay, wait, so it needs to equal 1? It needs to equal 0. So regardless of the number of times you change it, is it 1? And am I making that change? And I was just really, really overcomplicating it. And this, you know, once again, when it's something that you actually want, there's a little more pressure. So, but I'm hoping to take away from this, and I have 2 things. One, I'm just going through and practicing some stuff because, you know, practice questions are good, and they're fun. They're actually really fun. And then 2, I found a cool website so where I can do some practice stuff. I have to explore it more before I say too much about it, but it's HackerRank. A lot of practice questions and stuff like that, and I can't say too much about it just because I just found it. So anyways, the point is, so let's get to the actual nuts and bolts here. All right, how do we do this? How on earth do we do this? So let's go through my actual process, and feel free to give feedback, right or wrong. This is just the process. Now, my goal was not to optimize it because I didn't think I had enough time. But regardless, so this morning I actually do have had I taken the test and thought it through the way I did today, I would have had an extra 20-30 minutes to optimize it. But that wasn't the case, so I'm not going to pretend. Like, I literally had and the timer ran out, and I was like, oh crap, did I even submit like a code? Do they even have anything to look at? So let's take a look here at you know, what we have to work with, and I'll make it I'll try and explain this for you guys as best I can, because I always look for these kinds of things. I find them helpful. I don't know the screen, but we'll just do it like that. Okay, cool. Woo. Let's maybe go like that or something. Okay, cool. All right, so I kind of broke it up into chunks as far as my process of thinking, right? So I'm like, okay, Chris, break it down, all right? Remember, what we're looking for is, I want to input into this piece right here. I want to input an array. And with that array, I want to loop through those words. And within those words, I want to check that string to see if there is a duplicate. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just break this down, right? So I just want to run through an array as the argument. Just loop through it, right? And I'm not very much a big console.log person, just so I can just see something. I need that return value. So all right, cool. All right, so function, awesome check. That's just what I'm calling it, instead of their thing, whatever it was. Anyways, so that's what it is. Awesome check words for. Alright, we're just doing your basic. I'm running through the length of words, because words is going to be an array, and it could have 3, it could have 4, it could have 5, right? So words.length is going to be the length of words, whatever words array is, right? So I want to run through that, and I just want to make sure that I can just console.log it, right? I should expect back in return ABA, ABBA, ABC, right? And so what I did is I basically wrote this, and then what I did is I took this, I copied it. If I did have like a syntax issue or something like that, or it wasn't showing up, then what I would do is bring it to JS hint, and that's a really good way of checking the syntax. But what I ended up doing is just going to jsfiddle.com, right? I'm going to inspect. Great, cool, fantastic, good. So I just threw it in here, and then I ran it. Okay, cool. So my expected outcome is the same. ABA, ABBA, ABC. Perfect. That's what I expect to see. Alright, so what's next? Well, so next, I'm like, alright, cool. So I know I can run through that. Next thing I want to do is I need to make sure that I'm taking a word, a string, and I'm just running through it, right? So I'm like, okay, I know this. Okay, cool. Split, right? So we split through just a single word at this point. I'm just making sure, once again, my stuff works. So I put in, word equals stuff, just for sake of argument. Okay, word equals stuff. String equals words.split. When there's no space, what it does is it's going to take that string you put in, so which is words, and it's going to break it down into an array, and each letter is going to be a number in that array, or not a number in the array. It's going to be the next index of that array. Okay. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's just make sure that this one works, because the biggest thing is just stuff being stupid and not working the way you want it to, right? So for example, oh my god, like stop. Oh, look, it's not working. Well, why is it not working? Oh, yeah, because I was messing around, and look at this. This is incorrectly written. Okay, can you let go of... I don't know why it's... Nobody cares. Let go. Good. Alright, cool. Word, stuff. Okay, well, that's not words. It's word. Typo. Good. Alright, so that's what I got back what I expected. I got back a array of 5 pieces. STUFF 5, right? And that array is index 0, S, index 1, T, U, F, F, etc., etc., etc. So it doesn't matter how long this word is, I'm going to break it down, and it's going to have that many indexes, okay? That's good. That's what we wanted. All right, so that's working as expected. Cool. Well, now I got this piece, which does what I need to do for a single word, and I've got this loop, which does what I need to do for the entire array of things. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take just that little bit of code, and we're going to insert it into a loop. Okay, once again, still just trying to keep it simple, man. Just trying to keep it simple. So here's why: insert into the loop, awesome check, words, words I, string, word split, console log. Okay, cool. So here I'm expecting back an array, and I'm expecting back an array of this, this, and this. Sorry. This, this, right? That's what this should do. It's going to return back a string each time it does a loop, right? So where are we? Whoop. Okay, cool. Move this over for you guys. Whoop, whoop. Oh, look, I can do that. I didn't really think about it. I just... Alright, so then we do that. Oh, look at that. Perfect. That's exactly what I expected to see, okay? It's going to run through this, and as it's running through it, what is it saying? It's saying, alright, well, let's go through this loop. Words, okay. Word is going to equal words index, whatever that one is. If we're on 0, it's going to be the first one. So 2 is going to be the second one, or 1 is going to be the second one, 2 is going to be the third one, etc., etc., etc. And string is going to equal word.split. Okay, all right, so that first index is going to be word, and then I'm going to split it, and then I'm going to console.log out that array. Okay, cool. And that's going to do it for each single word, which it did. A, B, A, A, B, A, B, A, A, B, C. Okay, cool. That's good. That's what I expect to see. All right, now I'm starting to get a little bit. This is just why I'm copy and pasting. Just ignore that. All right, so let's see for the string. Okay, so now I'm like, all right, cool. So I've got this working. Now I need to check to see that the string, that within the string, if the previous item is a duplicate, right? So what does that mean? Well, that means I need to check for what is. Oh, I started changing the words because it was getting confusing. Excuse me, it was getting confusing. So let's go through this. Where's that length? Same as I said before. Instead of string, I changed it to the letter array, because that's what it is. It's just an array of letters, right? So it's the letter array that equals whatever word we're on. It's broken down into an array. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, within that thing, I now need to run through a loop, a for loop, with this thing. I need to run through a for loop with that. And so I need to know what the current letter is. Well, the current letter is going to be whatever I is currently on. And so letter array dot, oh yeah, that's right. So one of the things I came across is, because of habit, I'm building this second loop within it, right? And what the problem with that is I can't use the same variable again, right? Rookie mistake on my part. But I'm like, oh man, why isn't this working? It's only going through the first word, and it stops. And it's because I need to make a new variable. The variable I was already taken because of the previous loop, and it's within a loop within a loop. Now, I know this isn't the most optimized way of getting this to work, probably. But once again, at this point in time, my goal is to have it work and function. I want to get the result, and then I can go in and optimize it. Okay, but that's just my goal. Like, I just need this thing working, without doing anything too crazy. So I did a variable current letter equals letter array, right? Previous letter equals letter array j minus 1. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking, the current word is whatever the current index is. Okay, and the previous letter is going to be whatever previous index was, previous index number, right? So when it's comparing index number 2, it's going to also see if index number 1 is the same as index number 2. Okay? And at this point, I just want to make sure that, once again, this is working correctly, and that I'm not being stupid. I don't have like the wrong, this like letter array J makes sense, that's working. And I know I'm just overdoing it at this point, but I just got to make sure it's working correctly. So I console.log out current letter and previous letter, right? And so what I do is I'm expecting back, once again, that giant array that I had just saw before. So I'm expecting back this really long line, and this is how I know it's going through all the letters, right? So for example, I should be able to see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E, H, I. Boom. Oh, that's probably like a little unclear. Boom. Okay. A, B, C, D. I don't know why there's A, B. Oh, yeah, because right now I'm console.logging both of these, right? So the point is, I just wanted to make sure that it was actually working, and it seems to be working. Now, these undefineds, the reason why those are in there is because, say for example, what's going to end up happening is it's doing a comparison of a previous one, and if that previous one is less than 0, index of -1, there's nothing there. It's going to be empty. So that's why it's undefined. It just the index exists, but there's not actually a value inside of there. So there you go. All right. Anyways, moving on. Okay, cool. So next, I wanted to check to see, and actually, I should probably make sure my head isn't covering anything. Nope, I'm good. Okay, cool. So next, I wanted to check and see if the string of the previous two letters is the same. Now I'm actually going to do the actual comparison, right? The Holy Grail, right? Okay. So if current letter equals previous letter. Now, because I actually did a triple equals, it is going to check not only that the letter, well, I see, actually I kind of like overdid this because this is actually going to work for numbers, because that triple equals is making sure that it's the exact same type and only the same value. So it is possible that they could put in a number string and a regular they could put in a string with a number in it, and they could put in a number, and that they would not come back the same. So that might have been overkill. I was talking about using lowercase letters. So I guess maybe I should do, I don't know, but if it works with numbers, why is that a bad thing? I don't know, sidetrack. Anyways, so okay, cool. So now we're actually doing the comparison, right? So I know current letter, good. We know this previous letter, great. So if the current letter equals the previous letter, great. Now I added this new value called count, right? And I added it to my outside loop and assigned it 0. And the reason why I assigned it 0 was because, you know, I want this value to come out with the counter, right? I want it to do that value. And then it comes out, next step, boom. Right now we're just testing that it counts. Console.log count. And boom, it spits it out. And let's say it's like 4, right? Cool. And then it's going to go through this loop again. And when it runs through the loop again, the value of count is being changed back to 0. I'm restarting the counter at 0 because you don't want it to be within that loop, because then what's going to end up happening is you're not going to be getting that number to keep getting updated. You're going to keep adding to it. So, so now we got this. Alright, cool. Let's make sure it actually works the way we thought it would. Okay. And it does nothing. Okay, cool. So I don't know why this isn't working. Let's find... Oh, it's not that it doesn't work, it's that I haven't actually called anything. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Cool, let's run. Bam. So that's exactly what I'm expecting to see. I'm expecting to see either a 0 or a number. Okay, well, I gotta make sure this actually like does work. So let's make some changes here. So right, I want things that I definitely know have no duplicates. This one I want to make sure it definitely has a duplicate. In fact, I want to make sure it's got like multiple duplicates, just because I don't know what to expect. This one is going to have just one duplicate, and that's fine, right? So I'm expecting here to see 0, right? Because I'm expecting. Oh, I wonder why the screen is not like showing the whole thing. It's kind of annoying. There we go. All right. So I was expecting to see 0 because there's no duplicates. Expecting to see 1, 2, 3. So I'm expecting to see a 3, and then 1. So I'm expecting to see. Okay. So let's see if I get 0, 3, 1. Boom. 0, 3, 1. And to make it clear, boom. 0, 3, 1. Okay. Now, and this is, to my understanding, the solution to the problem, right? It's right there, it's done, it's easy, fandiggity-tastic, moving on. So now, unfortunately, what ended up happening is I did run out of time before I thought this through, and but two things. One, I'm sending them a copy of this explanation to see if they at least get back to me. Feedback, etc. would be awesome. So I'll let you know how that goes if anything changes. Otherwise, nonetheless, this has been a really good learning opportunity. To just run through some practice scenarios. So now this currently I'm going to save in my JS fiddle. For something that I've just worked on, so I can kind of remember, like, oh yeah, like this is similar to something else I've done, or something similar I've seen, or whatever. So I'll go ahead and keep that in there, my little like snippet, and then what'll end up happening is I'll probably try and optimize it, to be honest, because it's a little snippet of code, and I know this probably is not the most efficient way of doing it, but it does achieve the results I need. And yeah, so anyways, this has been Chris with CodeChris.com. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, all that fun stuff. Any feedback, thoughts, opinions, any ways you can see optimizing it, by all means, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than willing to check it out, and I hope this has been helpful to you. I personally have tried to find some other interviews out there, where people are doing the actual coding questions but explaining their process. It's not you. I haven't found one. I haven't found a good one, at least. This may not have been a good one. Anyways, I'm thinking I might do a few more of these if there's interest, if it actually makes sense. These are the kinds of questions that I've had to go through before, and if you do find it helpful, please let me know so I can do more of them. I also find it helpful for myself to sort of, explain these things. If you're curious as to why I did not just like, okay, here's the question, let's figure it out together, right? Because those are boring. Those are super, super boring. I know we want to hear the thinking process and everything, but sometimes that thinking process is a little bit quiet or a little slow. Maybe I'll get better at it, so we'll kind of change that. But I figured, at least for this, what I wanted to do was, go through the problem, break it down, and instead of going through and making all the mistakes with you guys, rather just telling you what mistakes that happened, and just saving it in chunks, so that you can see more of the process of why, breaking down a big question into smaller pieces, and a big problem and breaking down to smaller pieces. Anyways, why am I still like this small? Let's get big again. There we go. Great. Okay, cool. Alright, well, this has been Chris.com. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. That's it. Have a nice day.